Hi, happy Friday. I'm Jennifer from the Somerset County Family Community Health Science Department, and we're here in the kitchen prepping for your next Taco Tuesday. Uh, Soup has been a favorite that we have been sharing for months, and there's no better way to enjoy a taco than with a taco soup. Change up your Taco Tuesday. This is also a great meal prepping dish. Because you're going to make this pot and it's going to last a couple of days to have for dinner and for lunch that your family will love. So what I've done is I've heated my pot. I'm using ground turkey, so I put a little bit of olive oil in the pan so that the turkey doesn't stick because it's not as fatty as using ground beef. Now, if you're going to use ground beef, you can skip the oil. So we're just going to let this brown for a few minutes. Now, to this, we're going to add not a taco seasoning packet. I'm going to show you how easy it is to make your own homemade spices so that you're controlling the sodium and you're controlling just the spices and no additive preservatives to it. So we're going to ditch the taco packet and make our own. You can see how vibrant and colorful and aroma this is. So what we're going to do is take 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin. That's very earthy. It's going to give it a great flavor and great aroma. Then you're going to take half a teaspoon of sea salt, black pepper, garlic powder, and paprika, and oregano. And then you're going to take a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder and then just a pinch of crushed red pepper flakes. So that is my combination here. And this is probably good to go. If you want to double or triple that and put it in a small mason jar so that you have that in your pantry at any time you want to make a chili or a taco, you can do that. So it'll just look like that, nice all combined. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons. You want this nice and flavorful. And I'm adding it now so that it cooks and really soaks in the flavor with the meat, or the poultry as we're using today. And this recipe is very flexible. I am not adding fresh onions. If you love onions, you absolutely can add fresh onions to this. You can even use this as a chicken soup as well. So we're going to let this go just for another minute. Let me show you the other ingredients that we're using. We're going to beef up the protein with some beans. So I have pinto beans and I have black beans that I've drained and rinsed to get all that extra sodium out. So this is going to go into the soup in a few minutes. I also have one of these small 4-ounce cans of green chilies. That's going to give it a little heat and a nice flavor. And I have a 28-ounce can. I'm using diced tomatoes because when I think of tacos, I think of like chunky salsa or fresh cut up tomatoes. If you don't want it chunky, you can use a can of crushed tomatoes. So again, the choice is yours. You can do what you have in your pantry. So this is a great kind of last minute kind of dish to put together. So the turkey is almost browned. The other ingredients we're going to add, which I've also rinsed and drained, is a 15-ounce can of corn. I'm going to add that to my beans here. Okay, so this is almost done. So now we're going to add the garlic. I have 3 garlic cloves that I'm just going to mince because everything tastes better with garlic. And if you love garlic, go ahead and add 4. Okay. We're going to let that cook in. Oh, this is so good. So just use your wooden spoon and break up those the poultry into tiny little bits and pieces, right? Because we're not doing this as a chili. Remember, this is going to be more of a soup. Okay. So now I'm going to add my green chilies. I'm going to add my can of tomatoes. with the liquid. And I'm going to add the corn and 2 cans of beans. All right, I'm just going to give this a nice stir. This is such a colorful dish too. Great for springtime. Right? March can be a very funny month. It can be warm, it can be windy, it can be chilly. All right, so we're going to measure out 2 cups of broth. Again, you could use beef broth, you can use chicken broth. Try to get low sodium, so again, that you're controlling the amount of salt that you're putting into your soup. We're going to start with 2 cups, and then we're going to let this come to a boil and then simmer it for about 20 minutes, and we'll see how the liquid is. If you need to add more liquid, you absolutely can, but we have a little bit of the liquid coming out from the veggies and from the tomato juice. This is so beautiful. So I am going to leave the heat up. When it comes to a boil, we're just going to cover and simmer it for 20 minutes. Then I'll show you what the end looks like and that we're going to garnish it with some great toppings. Okay, the soup has been simmering for 20 minutes and it is ready. Let's take a look. Oh, it smells so good. And that homemade taco spice seasoning is going to be delicious. This is nice and brothy. Add a little broth here. And just look at that. And you see that? Full of color. So to garnish it, you add whatever you're going to put on your tacos. I have fresh cilantro, which gives it that nice pop of green color and a really fresh flavor. You could also take a little bit of lime if you wanted. I'm just going to add a little of the cilantro. And I have shredded cheddar cheese. We'll add a little of that on there. If you have low-fat sour cream or plain Greek yogurt, that also makes a great addition. Let's try it. It does taste like a taco, but in a soup. How perfect is this? Look in the comments below for the recipe, and I will also include the recipe for the homemade taco seasoning blend. Just get one of those little mason jars or a container and label it. It will stay dry in your pantry up to 6 months, so you can just keep making fresh batches. Let us know how you enjoy this. Have a great weekend.